The Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, or ICBC, has been ranked as the world's biggest company on the Forbes Global 2000 list. In second place was another Chinese bank, marking the first time that two Chinese firms have topped the Forbes list in its 10-year history. The list uses an equal weighting of sales, profits, assets, and market value to rank companies. Last year, ExxonMobil and JP Morgan took the first and second spots respectively. Now this year, JP Morgan fell to third place, followed by General Electric and Exxon. Exxon, however, still retains the title of the world's most profitable company, pulling in nearly $45 billion in net income last year. In total, more than 500 U.S. companies made the list. Japan had the second highest number of companies at 251, followed by China with 136. Banks and financial services firms dominated the Forbes list, accounting for nearly 1/4 of the 2,000 companies. Gas, materials, and insurance were also particularly well represented on the list, each with over 100 companies. The Agricultural Bank of China also made the top 10, placing 8th, while PetroChina came in 9th. The only companies to make the top 10 that were neither American nor Chinese were Britain's HSBC Holdings and Royal Dutch Shell of the Netherlands. The 2,000 companies on the list accounted for nearly $40 trillion in global revenues and nearly $2.5 trillion in profits. Together, these 2,000 enterprises employ 87 million people worldwide. So what do Chinese net users make of ICBC's first place finish? Well, let's head over to Weibo to find out.
How did they do this ranking? I think it's completely unbelievable that ICBC is in first place. This whole list doesn't make much sense to me. Germany's Volkswagen, which is ranked the 14th largest company in the world, is the only car manufacturer in the top 20, and two Chinese banks are ranked first and second? Is it me, or is this list just strange? I think the China Railway Engineering Corporation is a company with a lot of potential. I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up on the top of Forbes 2000 list next year. From this list, it seems that the most profitable companies are state-owned companies. It seems that we are stuck in an era where finance and investment companies are the most profitable companies operating in the world. There is nothing surprising about this list to me. No matter how great a company is, there is no way it can compete without an entire nation.
Both ICBC and China Construction Bank, which placed first and second by experiencing double-digit growth in both sales and profits last year. Now, healthy profits at China's state-owned banks are no surprise since the central government sets borrowing and lending rates, with a generous spread for banks to earn. But those earnings may soon come under pressure. China is currently dealing with a buildup of loan defaults as its economy slows. Some banks have extended payback periods for some debts, but the bad debt will need to be realized sooner or later. So what do Chinese net users think about China's state-owned banks? Well, let's have a look at Weibo to find out.
Should we really be impressed by these state-owned banks? They depend on the monopoly that the state has created for them. What's the point? There's definitely no surprise here. What I would like to see is private Chinese enterprises on this list, not state-owned ones. At first glance, I felt like this was something to celebrate, but after further thought, I thought it was ironic that all the largest companies are banks. Only Chinese banks have made the top 10 list, while there are a variety of enterprises from other parts of the world. From this point, we can see that China still has a long way to go. As soon as China loses its spot as the world's most populous nation, Chinese banks would lose their spot on the Forbes list. Although Chinese banks have high profits, it's not like their employees get more money than people working in other sectors. In fact, it is often lower than those working in other sectors. Of all China's banks, ICBC has the worst customer service. I can't believe it's the world's largest company, according to Forbes.
Despite the rising loan defaults that Chinese banks have seen in recent times, the global banking landscape has inarguably been changed. Today, Chinese banks account for nearly 30% of the total global profits from the banking industry, up from just 4% in 2007. European banks, on the other hand, saw their bank profits fall to 6% of the global banking industry, compared to nearly 50% 5 years ago. According to a survey of 1,000 banks by the Banker magazine, Industrial Commercial Bank of China is the world's most profitable bank, followed by China Construction Bank, Bank of China, and JP Morgan.